The Galactic Academy's surveillance system recorded everything. A silent observer, capturing a moment that would soon be analyzed frame by frame, dissected by military strategists across 3 spiral arms, and eventually locked behind a Level 9 security clearance. But right now, in this shadowed corner of Hangar Bay 12, there are no analysts, no strategists, just predators and prey. Or at least, that's what the Krolvian pack thought. Cadet Saro Kunquo had been a student at the prestigious academy for exactly 43 standard cycles. For her, that was just over 6 Earth weeks. She was a landmark student, the very first human ever accepted into this elite institution. It was meant to be a diplomatic gesture, a welcome mat laid out for humanity after their recent, and rather surprising, first contact with a galactic coalition. By human standards, Sarah was average. She stood 1.68 meters tall and weighed 64 kilograms. Unremarkable, but by the standards of the wider galaxy, she was a walking, talking, statistical anomaly. A creature from a classified death world, a place so hostile, its very existence was a whispered legend among xenobiologists. Grask and his pack had been waiting for this moment. They were a motley crew of 7 bullies, 4 Krolvians, 2 Hectori, and a Hulkin Vorin. Heavy, all of them were upper cycle cadets, seasoned and arrogant. They came from worlds where physical strength was the law, where the hierarchy was set by brute force, and they believed this little newcomer needed to be taught her place. Deathworlder, Grask hissed. His personal translator dripped the word with all the contempt he could muster. Millions of years of evolution, forged on a planet that relentlessly tried to kill everything on it, flared to life in less than half a second. She didn't say a word. Humans had learned a long time ago that talking wasted precious time that was better spent on staying alive. Grask made the first move. It was a classic mistake. His species telegraphed their attacks with a subtle chromatic shift in their exoskeletons, a vibrant threat display that worked wonders on most species. But Sarah wasn't most species. Her brain's patterned recognition cortex, honed over eons to spot camouflaged predators in the tall grasses of the African savanna, identified the intention of the movement before Grask's muscles even fully engaged. The first second, Sarah's leg swept out, low and fast. It connected with the precise joint in Grask's exoskeleton that her biology instructor had pointed out in a lecture just 3 weeks ago. Chitin, the material that could stop a laser pistol shot, cracked like an eggshell. Grask went down, hissing in agony. Seconds, 2, and 3. The 2 Hectori, driven by the pack tactics of their homeworld, rushed her together. They were fast. But Sarah was faster. Her fist slammed into the first one's sensory cluster, what humans might call a solar plexus. The principle was universal. The air whooshed out of it. The second Hectori lunged, only to meet a perfectly placed elbow strike to its vocal membrane. Both of them collapsed, gasping and unable to breathe. Seconds 4 and 5. The Vorn, heavy-classed, lumbered forward. He was, for all intents and purposes, a living tank. 180 kilograms of dense muscle and reinforced bone plating. He was also slow. Sarah didn't even try to match his strength. That was another lesson learned on Earth, where early humans survived, not by being stronger than the mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, but by being smarter. She dropped low, sweeping his massive legs out from under him. Using his own unstoppable momentum against him, she sent him crashing headfirst into the bulkhead. The Academy's concussion protocol would later determine he had hit the wall with enough force to physically dent the military-grade steel. Seconds 6, 7, and 8. The final 3 Krolvians, Grask's packmates, froze. They had watched their 4 companions fall in the blink of an eye. This hesitation, this moment of disbelief, was a fatal error. Sarah didn't hesitate. She flowed through them like water, a blur of motion. Each strike was precise, economical, targeting weak points that billions of years of parallel evolution had conveniently placed in roughly similar locations across most carbon-based life forms. nerve clusters, joint articulations, breathing passages. One after another, they dropped. The 9th second. Silence. Sarah stood alone, her breathing elevated but perfectly controlled, her stance balanced and ready. Around her, 7 of the Academy's toughest cadets lay incapacitated, their superior size, their natural armor, their collective strength, all of it had been rendered meaningless against the brutal efficiency of a death. The entire engagement had lasted exactly 9.3 seconds. The Academy's medical wing had never seen anything like it. They had never had to treat so many critical cases simultaneously from what was officially logged as a single altercation. The senior medical officer, a crystalline being named Velshara, reviewed the injury reports with a growing sense of disbelief. Her crystalline form shimmered with confusion. Fractured exoskeleton plates, collapsed breathing sacs, severe concussion, ruptured sensory membranes, she recited, her voice a series of melodic chimes. She looked at the Academy's commandant, Thros. Sir, these injuries are consistent with combat against multiple armed opponents, or perhaps even a light vehicle, not a single, unarmed, first-cycle cadet. Commandant Thros, a towering being with a stern reputation, simply pulled up Sarah's file on the holographic display. Her planet classification, he asked, his voice. Hello, Rambo. Velshara accessed the data. Death World. Class 12. Gravity is 1.0 G standard, but with extreme and unpredictable environmental variables. Atmospheric oxygen is at near toxic levels for most known species. The predator-to-prey ratio is Velshara. Schematic patterns shifted violently, a crystalline expression of pure shock. Sir, this cannot be accurate. It is, Thros confirmed. He zoomed in on Earth's planetary threat assessment. They evolved alongside megafauna that hunted in packs. They survived ice ages, global plagues, and a series of natural disasters that would have rendered most worlds in this quadrant completely uninhabitable. Their recorded history is 90% warfare against their environment, against their predators, and most of all, against each other. Velshara's light patterns flickered, and we invited one of them into the Academy. The Coalition Council believed their species' recent diplomatic overtures indicated a peaceful nature, Thros said. He hit a button, replaying the security footage from Hangar 12. On the screen, Sarah's fluid, deadly dance unfolded in stark reality. We were mistaken. Humans aren't peaceful. They're just choosing not to be violent. And there is a very, very significant difference. On the screen, the fight was over. Sarah Conque walked away from the 7 crumpled forms. Her expression wasn't triumphant. It wasn't angry or proud. It was simply alert. Her head was on a swivel, scanning the shadows for any additional threats that might emerge. Velshara's crystalline form flickered with an emotion that humans would instantly recognize as fear. What do we do with her? A slow, strange expression spread across Commandant Thros's features. It was the expression his species used to show deep respect. We train her properly, he rumbled, because in 9 seconds, a single, unarmed human neutralized 7 larger, stronger cadets without killing any of them. Think about that. She showed restraint. Now, imagine what she could do if we taught her our advanced combat techniques. Imagine what she could do if she chose asterisk, not asterisk, to show restraint. He paused the footage, freezing the frame on Sarah's watchful face. It is far better, he said, to have Deathworlders as our allies than as our enemies. The security recording was classified as level 9 within the hour, but secrets have a way of spreading in a place like the Galactic Academy. Whispers turned into legends. The story of the human cadet from the planet where everything tried to kill you. The girl who had survived by becoming more dangerous than anything that hunted her. Sarah Okonkwo would go on to graduate at the top of her class, and you can be sure that none of her classmates ever challenged her again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the far reaches of the galaxy. See you next time.